Hello. I am coming in here because I felt super inspired to want to come in and just really share the purpose behind the Brave Bold You channel. So, for those who don't know, my name is Crystal. And I I'd have to back this story up about 2011, 12, 13. I was at a time in my life where I was really just wanting to make huge changes and I explored bodybuilding and I actually prepped and trained and competed and placed top five in two bodybuilding figure shows. And the reason I had done those things is because I was trying to quote unquote get healthy and I was trying to find love for myself because I realized I had spent more than half of my life just hating myself, you know, self deprecating, really didn't like anything about my body. I had three children already by then, and I just felt like, I used to joke about saying things like damaged goods, literally. And so I got into bodybuilding as a way to just try to revamp and find myself, because I thought that's what was healthy. And I'm just going to preface this with, you know, anything that gets to an extreme is not necessarily healthy. And so after I competed in both of those shows and I did really, really well, I still found that I didn't feel like I liked myself any more than I thought I would. And that's when I realized, oh my gosh, it has nothing to do with the food, and it has nothing to do with the exercise or the body. It has everything to do with what's happening up here and what's happening down here. And I just started this whole journey of trying to find myself and this inner work and doing personal development. At that time, I already had my degree in psychology and sociology. And so then I started diving into studying things like nutrition. So I became personal trainer certified. I got a bunch of certifications related all to that, like kettlebell, spin instructor, all the stuff. And then I also became certified as like a nutritionist. So I studied precision nutrition. I did 2 years of that. So I became like 2 year long mentorships of that. And so I became like a level two precision nutrition um, nutritionist, I guess. And then I just really worked towards wanting to understand what food was and how it like my relationship to food, because I had, when I was doing those bodybuilding competitions, developed really disordered eating habits. And so what I mean by that is I would binge. And if I thought I hated myself, well, let me just tell you, I hated myself even worse. And so I had to do a whole healing around that. And so this is how I fell into personal development. And I actually had a really big, big desire, and I felt like really called to wanting to start a YouTube channel because I wanted to just spread the word, right? To shout it from the rooftops that we don't hate ourselves. We aren't born hating ourselves. It's actually conditioned onto us. Our flaws are not really flaws, they're just who we are, and it gets marketed to us to make us think that there's something wrong with us. And so I had a goal about starting a YouTube channel, and I actually did. Back in 2012 or 13, I did start a channel, and then I got scared and then I stopped making videos. I think on that channel, I think I have maybe 10 videos. um and I didn't do anything more with it. And what I did is I kind of pivoted more to a what I felt was a safer space in the online world, and I went to Facebook, and I would just post really regularly, like daily content all around this journey that I was on, and really just trying to help impact other women. And I know it was helping because they would message me and I would get emails and inboxes, and people would stop me in the street to just really tell me like, wow, I really needed to read that. And I just had this desire to just want to share this more and more. And then Facebook Live became a thing back in 2016. And I was the first to jump in and start doing Facebook Live. So when it first launched for me, where I was in the world in Northern Ontario, Canada, I started doing Facebook Lives back in June 2016. And then I went live very frequently. And I just kept building and building my platform and refining my voice. And I would do online coaching and all the things. And so The reason I wanted to start this YouTube channel, this one right here, and the reason it's called Brave Bold You, is because I want us to understand that I know that I'm not the only one who has gone through things, even though in those moments I felt so alone. And let me know in the comments if you've ever felt like that, where you're going through something and you're like, I feel so alone and I can't even tell anybody what this is because they're going to judge me, or I don't feel safe enough to share that. And so I wanted to really start using my voice and my platforms as a way to just let those know, those people who are going through the same kinds of things, know that they're actually not alone. And so I called my channel, well, when I originally started my online coaching business, it was called Feed That Glow. And that just came down to, again, we weren't born hating ourselves. And so we're all born like unique and with an inner glow. I totally believe this. Younger, I work with little kids for my day job. I'm a developmental consultant and I am around little kids a lot. And if you look at any little child, like I'm going to say 2 to 3 years old, like they're on their game. Like they feel so empowered, they know how to do everything and they want to do everything by themselves, and they just have this inner confidence and this glow, right? Like they know who they be. And somewhere around, like, maybe I don't know when it starts to really set in, the fact that we stop believing in ourselves and we start doubting our magic and we start doubting everything about us. I mean, if I look at my kids, for example, like that probably started around grade two. Like, how old are you in grade two? Like seven-ish. Um, I know for myself, I remember being in grade one and really just doubting, like being full of doubt about who I was as a person. And I think that's really where the whole not enoughness really like started to take over me. And that's just something that I carried forward throughout my whole life and up until like my mid 30s. I'm 46 now, but up until my mid 30s, like I spent more than half of my life hating myself, right? And thinking that I wasn't worthy enough. And the reason I share this is because I know I'm not alone. And so I really wanted, I originally called my business Feed That Glow because I was really just trying to help us feed that inner glow, not necessarily with food, but like with things that lit us up and brought us passion and joy and all the things. And so, and there were times in my life where I lost that glow, right? There was times in my life I didn't even know I had a glow, and then I found the glow and then I lost it again. And so that's the name that my business went under until about 2021, when I decided that it was even deeper, and the whole rebrand came to be Brave Bold You. And the reason I chose Brave Bold You is because we live in a world that's constantly telling us who we should be and who we're not, right? Um, Even if we think we know who we be, the world is going to always tell us who it thinks we need to be. And so you have to be brave, because you have to be brave and solid in who it is you already know you are. Like deep down, we know. Deep down, we freaking know. So you need to be brave, and then you need to be bold to really just stand in that, to take up this space to be you. And so one of my taglines since 2012 has always been take up space. Like, take up space, not just necessarily in your body, but in your life and in the things you want to do. And so I have been wanting to do this channel forever. Like, as I said, I had started a channel 10 years ago and I did about 10 videos and then I stopped. But I have a really, really close friends who were like who had already had a channel, my friends Mitch and Doris. And you can actually check him out. He's the Gen X guy here on YouTube. And we were talking, and I mean, we've been on a journey, like we've been good friends forever, like good friends forever. And we've traveled together, and I remember traveling, or anytime we would get together, like we're dreamers, and we know that there's something bigger, and we're here to do something bigger, and we're here to help people wake up and get after creating a life they want, right? And so um I had shared with Mitch and Doris, like, yeah, like I actually really want to do this. I want to get back on YouTube, and I'm ready to like show up and be brave and bold in myself and help other people remember who they be, because I'm remembering who I be, and together we light up the world, right? And so I'm really grateful because we've been at this now for a year, um to make this channel. And I just wanted to come on here because, just recently, every time we have meetings and just and talk about like how the channel's going and how we can impact more people, and what's like, how can we find the people, right, that are needing to hear this message. And he challenged me to do some lives. And as I said, like, I love doing Facebook lives. I've done Instagram lives, but I hadn't even considered being brave and bold enough to come here on my own platform right here on this channel to just speak my truth. And so I did it on Tuesday. So if you saw that live that I did a few days ago, it was all about motivation and what to do when you're lacking motivation. Because as somebody who's been in this space, really trying to build the business up, and I know that there have been so many women that have been impacted, the women that I've worked with, and myself as well, right? So like, we feed off of each other, and it's a beautiful like synergy. And so, yeah, after doing that Facebook live, not that Facebook live, sorry, the YouTube live last a few days ago, today I was at work and I was like, I'm just gonna go live again because I really just want to introduce myself so that you know who I be, you feel my heart. And the reason why I'm here is because the main reason, and I didn't think I was gonna get emotional. The main reason is because I know what it's like to feel alone in those dark moments. I really know what it's like to feel alone. And nobody should ever feel alone. And I know what it's like to feel like you're not enough. And I know what it's like to feel like, maybe it's too late, right? Like, I'm a Gen X woman. I'm 46 years old. Like, if you would have told me that I would be starting a YouTube channel now, like 20 years ago, I would have laughed at you, right? But here I am, right? Here I be. And I'm here because I want to help inspire and empower and educate and like really just activate you. I want to just activate you to like just stepping up and taking up space and getting after the thing you want, because happiness is an inner job. And so, just like I said at the beginning, like, I found that I spent more than half of my life just really not loving myself, um, and just letting, the lies about that fester and grow, and then stopping myself from doing anything I wanted to do. Like, I've always loved speaking, but I would never do it when I was younger. And I would always say, in my next life, as though that's something that's, gonna just naturally happen, right? Until like I said, in my mid 30s, I was like, that's it. I'm taking a stand and I'm actually gonna go all in, and I'm gonna do this work, and I'm gonna do this work with you, and we're gonna do it together. And so I'm doing this so that others can know, like, doesn't matter what kind of season of life you find yourself in. And trust me, I have been in many different seasons of life. Actually, this year, this year we got together, Mitch, Doris, and I, and my husband, last fall around this time of year, and we sat down and we were like, that's it, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this thing. And then we started planning and getting everything set up, and then I started recording the videos, and I already had a podcast by this time. By the way, you should know that I've had over 20,000 downloads, and I was like in one of the in the top rankings in Australia, Apple Podcasts, which is really cool, back in 2021. So I've been doing this for so long, audio, and as I said, I was doing video on Facebook and Instagram, and so I was ready. So we prepped all the content, and then we had my audio tracks from my podcast that we brought over here to the channel as well, just to like start setting things up. And then in January we went and made this public, like, this is what we're doing, and come and check it out. So we launched the podcast. We launched this channel like at the beginning of January, and at the end of February 23rd, I couldn't, when I woke up that morning, I couldn't get out of bed because I was in severe pains in my body. I have a spine injury. And so I was literally like unable to move or do anything for several months. Um, and so I was thankful I had pre recorded a bunch of content, and I was thankful that I had all of the audio tracks from the Brave Bold You podcast that we were able to bring over to YouTube. And then I started re recording videos back in like July, August. So literally, this is brand new for me to just start showing up. And when Mitch was speaking with me a few weeks ago, and he was like, just do a live. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So here I am. Um, but all that to say, I know what it's like to be stuck in certain seasons. And I have this saying that everybody has a chapter or two that they will never read out loud. And I know that I've had many chapters that I started to read out loud so that others who are in a similar chapter can feel seen and heard and feel safe. Um, and also to know like you're not defined by these moments. I think that there's like, I like to call it like character development. So you could take this as an opportunity of growth, and it helps to shape you into what comes next. Um, because I don't like to use adversities and things like that as a way to keep me stuck. Trust me, my whole life I've been doing that, and I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm here to just let you know like you're not defined by your past, you're not defined by your current circumstances, and you can create anything you want for yourself in this next breath. It can literally happen. You just have to be willing, you have to be brave enough and bold enough to do it, right? And so that's why I wanted to come on here today, was just to give you a little bit of an overview as to who I am, why I'm here, what I've studied. I did so much studying on the somatics and trauma, neurolinguistic programming. Like I'm constantly learning new ways on how to like just take up more space in the body and how to take up more space in life, right? To create your happy, because happiness is an inner game. It's not something that you're going to find externally. It's you won't. You can keep chasing something, but until you're actually solid and anchored into like I am content, I feel fulfilled, right? The pursuit of happiness is forever fleeting versus the energy of feeling fulfilled, the energy of feeling content. And feeling fulfilled and content doesn't necessarily mean that everything is happy go lucky and everything's just so amazing in your life. It could just mean that you're able to keep the calm in the storm, right? You're able to regulate yourself. So I talk a lot about emotional intelligence. I talk a lot about how to start regulating your nervous system. I talk a lot about, that stuff doesn't have to define you. Like your story and what shaped you, it doesn't have to be the way, like it doesn't have to weigh you down, right? You could take it and use it as a positive, right? And I am also not talking about toxic positivity for those who are going to think that that's what this is. No, I need you to understand that I am a big believer in we have two sides. We have all the light, but we also have all the dark. There is a contrast in life, right? And if you choose to just look at the good stuff, but not really work through the negative stuff, the quote unquote bad stuff, right? Because we like to label things binary as like good and bad, um, then you end up living like very mediocre like this. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but if this is something that you're like, ugh, I think that there's more, then you have to be able to touch the highs with not attaching to them and work through the lows without judging yourself, right? And that creates a different life. That creates more expansion. And that's just the contrast, literally, of life and being a human. We're living a human mess. We're spiritual beings who came here to live the human experience. That's what I fully believe. And so I trust that everything that's brought me here to this very moment is stuff that I've walked through. Not that I necessarily caused. I don't believe in that, by the way. Like, you didn't cause your trauma. However, you're responsible for what comes next. And so, character developing moments, like, how am I going to tell this story in 5 years from now, right? I'm going to tell it from a place of like, I overcame this, or am I going to tell it from a place like it overtook me, right? And so I'm just here. My name's Crystal. I'm happy you're here. Thank you to all the subscribers. And I'm going to do a lot more of these lives. I'm feeling really inspired to want to come in and share a little bit more about my story. Let me know in the comments what you'd love to hear, but I'm willing to share anything that I think could be beneficial to you, because literally in a world where everything is so fast paced, like I don't want to waste your time. I just really want to help in any way, help you feel seen, help you feel heard. This is a safe space. Welcome to this part of the unit of the internet. Welcome to this part of the universe. And that's what I got. So I think that I'm going to say goodbye. But once again, like I really want to thank my business partners, my YouTube business partners, Doris and Mitch. Like I'm so grateful for you guys. You'll never know how much. And to this whole movement that they're creating, like this HopeCrew, where it's like literally helping other small creators get out there and share a part of themselves to help impact other people. And so I am here and I want to be a part of that crew. Like, can I be a part of this crew? But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna and hopefully this will inspire you to want to take up space in your life and go do that thing that's been on your heart for so long, even if it doesn't intellectually make sense, right? Like if it's been in your heart forever and it doesn't always make sense, that's because your mind is trying to control it. That's because you're trying to control the outcome. But as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, yourself included, but it's something that brings you joy, like, yeah, the world needs more magic. The world needs more love. Um, and all things from a place of love are good things. So that's what I got. Um, I need to figure out how to get the chat box. So if anybody has any tips for that, that'd be great. Again, I'm not a techie girl, but I can try to figure it out. But if you have some tips, that'd be great. That's all. I'm gonna go eat supper now because I finished work and I just decided to jump on here and go live. So thanks for being here. Chat later. Bye.